Have you ever looked at someone and felt like there's a whole story behind their eyes? Maybe you walked into a room and instantly felt something was off, but you couldn't explain why. Or maybe you've been fooled by someone's words, only to realize later their actions told a different story. The truth is, life becomes easier, safer, and more powerful when you learn the art of observing people. And in today's world, this is not just a skill, it's a superpower. So, if you want to protect yourself, understand others better, and level up in life, this lesson is for you. Let's explore how to truly observe anyone. 1. Why observation is a superpower. Most people see with their eyes, but they do not truly observe with their mind. There is a big difference between just looking at something and actually noticing it. Every day you walk past dozens, maybe even hundreds of people. On the street, in the office, at school, or on public transport. You see their faces, their clothes, their actions. But how many of them do you truly notice? How many of them do you really understand? Even a little bit? Probably not many. That is because observation is not about what the eyes can see. It is about what the mind can pick up. People are like books. Some are short stories, some are long novels, some are open and easy to read. Others are closed, complicated, or even written in a language we don't understand. But most people only look at the cover of these books. They make quick decisions. He's smart, she's rude, he's funny, she's not friendly. These opinions are based on a single glance, a few words, or one action. That is not observation. That is assumption. That is guesswork. True observation is something else entirely. When you observe, you slow down. You listen carefully. You don't jump to conclusions. You pay attention to the small things, like how someone's voice changes when they talk about something painful, or how their body becomes tense when they feel uncomfortable. You notice their facial expressions, the way their eyes move, how they sit, how they stand, what words they repeat, and what topics they avoid. Over time, you start to recognize patterns, and those patterns tell you the truth. This skill is powerful. In fact, observation is a kind of superpower. Why? Because it helps you in almost every area of life. In your relationships, it allows you to see what your partner, friend, or family member is really feeling, even when they don't say it out loud. In your career, it helps you understand your boss, your coworkers, and your clients better. You can sense who is honest, who is nervous, who is confident, and who might be hiding something. When you observe well, you can avoid conflict, choose better people to trust, and even become more persuasive. Observation also protects you. It helps you see warning signs early. For example, you might notice that someone always changes the topic when they're asked about the past. Or maybe they never look people in the eye when making promises. These small details can tell you a lot. They help you protect your heart, your time, and your energy. But there's more. Observation does not only help you understand others, it also helps you understand yourself. When you start paying attention to your own thoughts, your own reactions, your own body language, and your own habits, you begin to grow. You become more self-aware. And self-awareness is the first step toward real personal development. When you observe yourself honestly, you begin to change in powerful ways. The most important thing to remember is this: observation is not the same as judging. Judging is fast and shallow. Observation is slow and deep. When you judge, you close your mind. When you observe, you open your mind. Judging creates distance. Observation creates understanding, and understanding creates connection, empathy, and wisdom. In a world that moves fast, where most people are too busy to really see anything, the person who observes stands out. That person becomes wiser, calmer, and stronger. That person avoids many problems and creates better relationships. That person becomes someone others can trust and follow. So train yourself to observe. Practice every day. Don't just look, notice. Don't just hear. Listen. Don't just speak, reflect. Because when you learn to observe, you unlock a power most people never even realize they have. 2. Start with curiosity, not judgment. The first and most important step in learning how to observe anyone is to develop the right mindset. That mindset is called curiosity. Most people go through life quickly judging others. They hear one thing, see one action, and immediately create a full story in their mind. He's lazy. She's selfish. That person is weird. But these stories are based on almost nothing. Just one sentence. Just one moment. Just one expression. And the problem is, once you judge someone too quickly, you stop seeing them clearly. You stop learning about who they really are. But curiosity is different. Curiosity means you are truly interested in understanding others. You are not trying to label them. You are trying to learn about them. You want to know why they do what they do, what shaped their behavior, and what their story might be. This mindset helps you slow down and pay attention. You stop jumping to conclusions. Instead, you start asking quiet questions inside your mind. For example, instead of saying, "He's rude," you ask yourself, "Why is he acting that way today? Is he tired? Is he under stress? Did something happen in his past that makes him behave like this?" When you see a person who seems cold or distant, you don't immediately decide, "She's unfriendly." Instead, you think, "Maybe she is shy. Maybe she is protecting herself. Maybe she doesn't feel safe right now." This shift, from judging to wondering, makes a big difference. Why is this important when it comes to observation? Because judging closes your eyes. Curiosity opens them. When you judge, you think you already know the answer, so you stop looking for more information. But when you stay curious, you keep observing, you keep learning, you notice more. People can feel this energy from you. When you're curious, they're more likely to open up, to show you their real self, and to reveal their thoughts. You become someone they feel safe with. And this is where powerful observation begins. Also, curiosity makes you emotionally stronger. When you're curious instead of judgmental, you react less. You don't take things so personally. If someone is cold to you, instead of getting angry or sad, you become interested. What made them act this way? That space between reaction and reflection gives you control. You stay calm. You become wiser with every experience. Many problems in life happen because people judge too fast. Relationships break down. Friendships are lost. Trust is destroyed. But when you start with curiosity, you build bridges. You understand people better, and they understand you better too. Even if you don't agree with someone, you can still learn from them. You can still find something valuable in their story. Now, this doesn't mean you ignore bad behavior. It doesn't mean you accept disrespect. It means you observe first before making decisions. You stay open long enough to collect the truth, not just your assumptions. And in that space of curiosity, you find wisdom, patience, and power. So from now on, train your mind to ask better questions. Don't label people quickly. Don't jump to conclusions based on one moment. Stay curious. Be interested in people. Try to understand, not judge. Because every person is carrying a story you haven't heard yet. And the more curious you are, the more clearly you will see those stories. That's the secret. Judging closes your mind. Curiosity opens your heart. And when your heart is open, your observation becomes deep and powerful. People may not say much with words, but when you observe them with curiosity, they show you everything. 3. Watch their body, not just their words. When you're trying to understand someone, most people listen only to the words being spoken. But the truth is, words can lie. People often say things they don't mean. They hide their real thoughts and feelings behind polite sentences. They say, "I'm okay," when they are not. They smile when they are hurting. They agree when they are actually uncomfortable. This is why words can sometimes be misleading. But there is something that almost never lies: the body. The body speaks in silence. It expresses what the person is feeling deep inside, even when they don't want to say it out loud. That's why learning to observe body language is such an important part of truly understanding people. If someone says, "I'm fine," but their shoulders are tight, their voice is soft or flat, and they avoid eye contact, you can sense something isn't right. Their words say one thing, but their body says something else. Every part of the body gives signals. Crossed arms may suggest the person is protecting themselves or feeling defensive. It could also mean they are uncomfortable or trying to create distance. Leaning forward, on the other hand, often shows interest. It tells you the person is engaged, curious, or connected to the conversation. Looking away, especially when answering a question, may show nervousness, guilt, or hesitation. A person who repeats small movements like tapping their fingers, shaking their foot, or biting their nails may be feeling anxious or uncertain. Sometimes people mirror your actions without even realizing it. For example, if you take a sip of water and they do the same, or if you cross your legs and they copy your posture. This can be a very good sign. It usually shows trust and connection. Their body is saying, "I feel safe with you," even if their words haven't said it yet. But here is a very important point. Never judge someone based on just one movement. A single action, like crossing arms or looking away, doesn't always mean something is wrong. Maybe the person is just cold. Maybe they're thinking. Maybe they're shy. That's why a smart observer always looks for patterns. A pattern means the person does the same thing again and again in different situations. That's when you can trust the signal. Let's say someone often avoids eye contact, gives short answers, and stands with closed posture every time you talk about a specific topic. That's a pattern. It tells you the topic makes them uncomfortable, or they may be hiding something. On the other hand, if they lean in, smile, and speak with excitement when another subject comes up, you've also learned something valuable. What matters to them and what makes them feel alive. The best part is, you don't need to be an expert in psychology or human behavior to do this. You just need to pay attention. Be still. Watch quietly. Let your mind and eyes work together. The more you observe, the more natural it becomes. You'll start noticing things you never saw before. Shifts in posture, changes in tone, movements that match or don't match their words. The body speaks all day long. In fact, some studies suggest that over 70% of communication is nonverbal. That means most of what people are telling you is not in the words. They're in the movements, the pauses, the expressions. Once you understand this, you begin to listen in a new way. So train yourself to see beyond the words. Watch how people sit, how they walk, how they react when something is said. Notice their face, their hands, their shoulders. When words and body language do not match, always believe the body. Because the truth is, the body doesn't know how to lie. It always tells the real story. 4. Listen more than you talk. There's a powerful secret that most people never learn. The more you listen, the more people reveal. Listening is not just a polite thing to do. It is a powerful skill that can help you understand people deeply. Many people think they are listening, but they are only waiting for their turn to speak. Their mind is not focused on the other person's words. It's focused on what they want to say next. They miss important details, signals, and emotions, all because they are too focused on themselves. If you want to be a great observer, you must learn to listen with your whole attention. This means not just hearing the words, but paying attention to how the words are spoken. Every voice carries emotion. Every sentence has a rhythm. The tone, the speed, the volume. These all give you clues about what someone is really feeling. For example, if someone's voice is tense or shaky, they might be nervous or hiding something. If their voice is soft and slow, they might be sad or tired. If their voice gets louder or rises suddenly, it might mean they are lying, excited, or feeling pressured. Now think about the speed of speech. Some people talk very fast when they're nervous. Their words tumble out one after another, like they're trying to escape a feeling. Others speak slowly when they are unsure. Long pauses, repeated words, or changes in pace can show hesitation, confusion, or even guilt. As a good listener, you must pay attention to this. Don't just hear the message. Observe how it is delivered. One of the most powerful things to listen to is silence. Yes, silence speaks. Sometimes what a person doesn't say is more important than what they do say. Maybe they avoid a topic. Maybe they change the subject when a certain name is mentioned. Maybe they go quiet when asked a direct question. That silence can carry a heavy truth. It can show pain, fear, or secrets that they are not ready to talk about. Also, notice how a person's story changes over time. People who are not telling the truth often give too many details to sound believable. They might say things that don't match later, or they avoid certain topics again and again. As a careful listener, you will notice these small changes. You don't need to confront them. Just observe. Let the patterns speak for themselves. Another secret: silence makes people speak. If you stay quiet after someone talks, they often feel the need to fill the silence. In that moment, they may share something more honest. It's natural. Most people feel uncomfortable with silence, so they keep talking. And in that extra talking, they may say things they didn't plan to. So don't be afraid of quiet moments. Let silence do its work. Be still. Be patient. Be open. People will reveal more than you expect. Listening is not only about understanding others, it's also a way to build trust. When people feel truly heard, they feel safe. They feel respected. They are more likely to be real with you. This makes observation easier because people drop their masks when they feel someone is actually listening. Not judging, not interrupting, not trying to win the conversation. Just listening. So, if you want to truly observe anyone, here is one simple rule. Talk less, listen more. Don't rush to give advice. Don't always share your opinion. Let the other person speak. Let their words, their tone, and their silence guide you. Because when you become a great listener, you begin to see what others miss. And that is the true power of quiet observation. 5. Observe reactions, not just actions. When people think about observing others, they often focus on actions, what a person does, how they behave, the decisions they make. And yes, actions are important. They show habits, choices, and behavior patterns. But if you want to go deeper, if you want to truly understand someone, then you must learn to pay attention to something even more powerful. Reactions. Reactions happen fast. They are emotional, unplanned, and often unconscious. When a person reacts, they are not thinking carefully about their response. They are simply showing you what they truly feel inside, even if they don't say it in words. That's why reactions are so valuable. They show you what is hidden. While actions may be practiced, polite, or even fake, reactions are raw and real. Let's say you ask someone a simple question like, "Do you trust people easily?" And suddenly, their body stiffens, their face changes, or they respond with a sharp, defensive tone. That is a strong reaction. Maybe they've been hurt before. Maybe trust is difficult for them. They didn't plan to show you that emotion, but it appeared for a second. That's your window into their truth. You can learn a lot by observing how people react to specific situations. For example, watch how someone reacts to criticism. Do they become angry, silent, or open to feedback? A person who cannot handle criticism may be insecure or hiding something. On the other hand, someone who listens and asks questions might be confident and emotionally mature. Now watch how they react to praise. Do they smile, say thank you, or seem uncomfortable? Some people have a hard time accepting compliments because they don't believe good things about themselves. Others may react with arrogance, showing you they crave praise to feel valuable. Silence is another powerful moment to observe. When a room becomes quiet, or when you stop talking and wait, what does the other person do? Do they rush to fill the silence? Do they become nervous? Do they seem peaceful and calm? Silence is like a mirror. It shows what is happening inside the person's mind. Rejection is another test. How does someone act when they don't get what they want? Do they become angry, cold, or jealous? Or do they remain respectful and controlled? A person's reaction to rejection tells you a lot about their emotional maturity, their sense of self-worth, and even their past wounds. Now think about surprise. When something unexpected happens, people often forget to act and instead react with their true feelings. You might see fear, joy, confusion, or even guilt. These emotional flashes, no matter how short, can reveal what a person really cares about or what they fear the most. One of the most revealing types of reactions comes when you ask someone about their past. Maybe you bring up a topic like family, childhood, or a previous job. If the person suddenly changes, maybe their mood drops, their body closes off, or their answers become short and cold. It tells you that something emotional is hiding there. The topic may carry pain, shame, or loss. This is why reactions are often more honest than words. Reactions happen before the person can think about what to say. They happen in the body, in the face, in the eyes. But to notice them, you must be fully present. You must slow down, observe carefully, and resist the urge to speak too quickly. Let the reaction come. Watch how they behave when something touches a nerve. That's where the truth is buried. Remember, it's not just what people do, but what triggers them that tells you who they are. Triggers are like hidden doors. When you notice what makes someone tense, angry, nervous, or excited, you begin to see the deeper layers of their personality. That's the power of observing reactions. So train your eyes and ears. Watch closely. Listen deeply. Don't just focus on what's said or done. Pay attention to the moment after, the emotion, the energy, the shift. Because in that space, behind every reaction, lives the truth you are looking for. 6. Notice how they treat powerless people. If you want to understand someone's true character, don't just watch how they treat the people they need or admire. Watch how they treat people who can do nothing for them. This is one of the most honest and powerful ways to observe a person. It reveals who they are at the core, beyond charm, beyond politeness, beyond image. Think about it. In daily life, we all meet people who serve us in some way. The waiter at a restaurant, the cleaner in a building, the delivery person bringing packages, the receptionist at a front desk. These people often have no power in the situation. They are there to help, but they cannot give anything beyond their service. And many people, sadly, treat them as if they are invisible or unimportant. But pay close attention. Kind people show kindness to everyone, no matter their title, their clothes, or their role. They say thank you to the janitor. They smile at the cleaner. They speak with respect to the person bringing their food. These small actions say a lot. They tell you that the person sees human beings, not just roles or labels. Their kindness is not based on who you are, but based on who they are. On the other hand, some people are only kind when it benefits them. They act friendly to the boss, polite to important people, and helpful to someone who has something they want. But once they think no one is watching, they drop the act. They yell at the driver. They ignore the cleaner. They speak rudely to someone they believe is beneath them. This is not true kindness. It is strategy. These people are not kind. They are calculating. They use good behavior like a tool to get ahead, not as a natural part of who they are. This behavior is especially important to watch in relationships, business, and friendships. If someone treats you well, but you see them treat others with disrespect, be careful. One day, when they no longer need you, they might treat you the same way. True character is not seen in how people behave when they're trying to impress. It's seen in how they behave when they believe no one important is watching. And here's the best part. You don't need to say a word. Just observe. You don't have to argue or confront anyone. Just watch. Let time do its work. People always reveal who they are in small moments, especially in how they treat those who cannot fight back, complain, or offer anything in return. Over time, these small observations build a clear picture. You begin to see who values respect, who lives with integrity, and who treats all people with dignity, not just the ones who matter. These are the people you want around you. These are the ones worth keeping close. Because someone who treats everyone with basic respect, even when there's no reward, is someone who is real, grounded, and trustworthy. That type of person doesn't need to wear a mask. Their kindness is part of them. And in a world where many people pretend to be nice only when it helps them, this kind of honesty is rare and beautiful. So the next time you want to know someone's heart, don't just watch how they treat you. Watch how they treat the person serving their food, cleaning their table, or holding the door open for them. That's where their real self shows up. And once you learn to observe this, you'll avoid many wrong people and attract the right ones. 7. Patterns reveal the truth. When you try to understand people, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is focusing only on individual moments. A single action, by itself, can often be confusing or misleading. Maybe someone says something hurtful one day. Maybe they forget a promise. Maybe they seem distant or cold. It's easy to overthink that one moment and wonder, what does this mean? But the truth is, one-time behavior is not the full story. It might be a mistake. It might be a bad day. It might be nothing at all. That's why you must learn to look at patterns, not just moments. Patterns always reveal the truth. A person may lie once. It could be out of fear, stress, or pressure. But if they lie again, and then again, and then again, that's no longer a mistake. That's a pattern. It shows you that dishonesty is a habit, not an accident. Maybe someone cancels on you once. Life is busy, things happen. But if they cancel again and again without a good reason, that is a sign. It tells you where you stand in their life. It tells you that you are not a priority to them, no matter what they say. This is where many people go wrong. They want to believe the good in others, so they explain away the bad patterns. They say, she didn't mean it, or he's just going through something, or it's not a big deal. But in truth, your peace comes from paying attention to consistency, not excuses. People show you who they are not once, but repeatedly, through their habits, choices, words, and reactions over time. So, if you want to observe someone deeply, don't rush. Be patient and quiet. Pay attention without judging too quickly. Make mental notes. If someone apologizes but keeps doing the same thing, that's not change. It's a pattern. If someone promises to improve but never does, their actions have become more truthful than their words. A pattern is like a trail. Follow it long enough, and it leads you to the truth. This lesson is especially important in relationships. Whether it's with a partner, a friend, or even a family member, many people ignore patterns because they are emotionally attached. They want to believe in someone's potential. They want to believe that things will change. They hold on to a few good memories and block out the repeated disappointments. But if someone's pattern is to hurt you, lie to you, ignore you, or make you feel small, that is not love. It's emotional damage. Respecting patterns more than promises will protect your heart and your mind. It doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you care enough about yourself to stop falling for repeated pain. Real observation requires you to step back and see the whole picture. It's not about judging others harshly. It's about learning from what life is showing you. One helpful way to observe patterns is to imagine you're watching a movie. If the same scene keeps repeating, what would you think? You would start to understand the character. You would expect them to behave a certain way. Life works the same way. Watch the movie of people's actions. What plays again and again? That's the truth. So trust your eyes, trust your memory, trust the signs, and most of all, trust patterns. Because when someone shows you the same behavior over and over, they are telling you who they are, even if they don't say it with words. And once you learn to see patterns clearly, you'll stop being confused by one-time moments. You'll start living with clarity, peace, and wisdom. 8. Pay attention to energy shifts. There's something about people that you can't always see, but you can definitely feel. It's their energy. You may not notice it with your eyes, but your body, your emotions, and even your mind can feel it clearly. This is why learning to observe energy shifts is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. It goes beyond body language, beyond words, and even beyond behavior. Because while people can fake smiles, polite words, and kind gestures, energy never lies. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly felt uncomfortable, even before anyone said a word? Maybe you felt tension in the air. Maybe your body felt tight, or your mood suddenly changed. That is the effect of emotional energy. Sometimes a person's silent emotions, anger, sadness, anxiety, can be so strong that everyone around them can feel it. And on the other hand, you may have met someone who made you feel relaxed and safe just by being near them. That's energy too. It's invisible, but it's very real. Every person carries a certain emotional frequency. Some people have heavy, negative energy. Being around them drains you. You might feel tired, sad, or anxious after just a short time. Some people have confusing energy. One moment they're warm, the next they're cold. This leaves you walking on eggshells, unsure of what to say or do. Then there are people who have calm, uplifting, peaceful energy. Being near them makes you feel better, stronger, or more like yourself. These people are rare, but when you find them, you feel it immediately. The key is to observe how your own body and emotions react around different people. Do you feel nervous or tense around someone, even if they're being nice? That might be a sign that something in their energy is off. Maybe they are hiding anger, or maybe their smile doesn't match their inner feelings. Do you feel like you can't be yourself around someone? Do you feel fake, like you're performing or trying too hard to impress? Pay attention to that. It's a clue that the energy between you isn't safe or honest. Now think about the people who make you feel peaceful, happy, or inspired. You might not even talk to them for long, but just their presence gives you comfort. Your breathing becomes easier. Your mind feels clear. You don't feel judged. That's not just personality. It's energy alignment. Your body feels that this person is genuine, present, and trustworthy. You can't fake that. What's powerful about energy observation is that it often works before your mind understands what's happening. Your body reacts first. Your gut may feel tight. Your heart may beat faster. Or you may feel like something is wrong, even if everything looks fine on the surface. This is not just instinct. This is your body picking up signals. And these signals are often more honest than spoken words. Many people ignore these feelings. They tell themselves, "I'm just overthinking," or "maybe I'm being too sensitive." But those quiet feelings are important data. They help you see what's real, even when it's hidden. Your energy doesn't lie. So, start trusting it. Learn to read the room, not just with your eyes, but with your body and emotions. This also helps in relationships, jobs, and social situations. If you always feel anxious or small around a certain person or place, take it seriously. It might be your body telling you that the energy is not good for your growth. On the other hand, if something or someone gives you peace and clarity, that might be exactly where you need to be. So remember, energy is a form of truth. It can't be dressed up, faked, or hidden for long. Observe how your inner world responds to the outer world. Let your body be your guide. Because when you learn to read energy shifts, you gain one of the most accurate tools for understanding people and protecting your own peace. 9. Observe yourself. First, this is the final and perhaps most powerful step in learning how to observe anyone. You must first learn how to observe yourself. Many people spend all their time looking outward, studying other people's behavior, judging their words, reacting to their actions. But very few stop to look inward and ask the most important question: why do I act the way I do? If you want to become skilled at observing others, you must first become skilled at observing your own thoughts, emotions, and patterns. Think about it. How can you truly understand someone else if you don't understand yourself? If you don't know what triggers your anger, how can you stay calm when someone pushes your buttons? If you don't understand your own fears, how can you tell whether someone else's actions are harmful or if you're just reacting from past pain? Self-observation builds emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize and manage your emotions and to understand the emotions of others. This is the foundation of all human connection. Start by becoming aware of your own triggers. What makes you feel insecure, jealous, nervous, or angry? When do you feel the need to control others? When do you shut down emotionally? These reactions are not random. They often come from past experiences, old wounds, or unresolved fears. For example, maybe you had a dishonest friend in the past who betrayed you. Now, every time someone is even a little secretive, you start to think they're lying. But that may not be true. It could just be your fear talking, not the reality in front of you. When you observe yourself with honesty and patience, you start to see where your thoughts and feelings are coming from. You stop reacting blindly and start responding wisely. Instead of saying, "That person made me feel bad," you begin to ask, "Why did I feel bad in that moment? What inside me was touched?" This small shift changes everything. It gives you power. You are no longer controlled by your emotions. You are guided by your awareness. Self-observation also helps you catch your biases. Sometimes we judge people not because of what they did, but because of what we believe about them. Maybe you think all rich people are selfish, or that quiet people are weak. These ideas are not facts. They are beliefs that were planted in your mind over time. When you observe yourself, you begin to question these beliefs. You ask, "Is this really true? Or is this something I was taught to believe?" This opens your mind and helps you see people more clearly. Another gift of self-observation is that it stops you from projecting your past onto the present. We all do this sometimes. Maybe you grew up feeling abandoned, so now you expect everyone to leave you. Maybe you were criticized a lot, so now you feel attacked by simple feedback. These emotional wounds shape how you see the world. But when you become aware of them, you stop letting them control you. You begin to see the present moment for what it truly is, not what your past told you it would be. Most importantly, observing yourself makes you more compassionate toward others. Once you understand your own struggles, you begin to understand that everyone has their own pain, their own fears, their own story. You judge less. You listen more. You don't just react, you reflect. And when you reflect, you grow. So remember, the journey to observing others doesn't start with their words, their body language, or their behavior. It starts with you. It starts with your ability to sit with yourself, study your thoughts, question your feelings, and grow through your awareness. When you master the skill of observing yourself, observing others becomes simple. You won't just see people, you'll understand them. And that is the true art of observation. Final words. Become the silent student. The world around us is very noisy. There are always people talking, rushing, and trying to be heard. But the true power of understanding others comes from a very different place. From being quiet. The best observers are silent students. They don't feel the need to speak first or to prove they know everything. Instead, they watch, they listen, and they learn. They grow in their awareness every day. This quiet strength is often unseen by the world, but it is very powerful. Most people live life quickly. They speak without thinking, jump to conclusions, and miss the simple truths that are right in front of them. They are so busy talking that they forget to watch and listen. They react to what they see or hear without understanding the deeper meaning. This is the opposite of being an observer. But you are different. If you have read this far, it means you are ready to begin a new journey. A journey of becoming a silent student. A person who learns through watching quietly and listening deeply. This journey is not easy. It requires patience, practice, and a calm mind. But it is worth it because it leads to something very special. Wisdom. So remember the most important lessons. First, always stay curious. Curiosity is the engine of learning. When you are curious, you want to know more. You don't judge people quickly or make assumptions. Instead, you ask questions inside your mind. You wonder why someone acts a certain way. You look beyond the surface. Curiosity helps you see the true story behind the person. Next, learn to watch quietly. Don't rush to speak or react. Pay attention to small details. The way someone moves, their tone of voice, the silence between words. These small clues tell you more than what people say out loud. Watch carefully and with kindness. You don't have to judge or fix everything you see. Just observe and understand. Also, always listen deeply. Listening is more than hearing words. It's about paying attention to how people say things. Notice their emotions, the speed of their voice, the pauses they make. Sometimes silence is the loudest message. When you listen deeply, people feel safe to share their true selves with you. When you observe, try not to react immediately. Instead, take a moment to reflect. This means pause and think before you respond. Reflection helps you avoid misunderstandings and emotional reactions. It gives you time to understand what is really happening. When you reflect, you grow stronger inside. Learn from everyone, even the people who hurt you. Difficult people and painful experiences teach you important lessons about yourself and others. They show you what to avoid and how to protect your peace. Every person you meet has something to teach you if you observe with an open heart. Finally, trust the process. The more you practice observing, the more powerful and wise you become. Observation is not just about watching others. It is about understanding life. When you know how to observe anyone, you can understand everyone. You can build better relationships, avoid conflict, and live with more peace. So be the silent student in a noisy world. Stay curious. Watch quietly. Listen deeply. Don't react, reflect. Learn from all people. And trust yourself. Because this is the way to true wisdom and strength.